Blue Streak is the oldest roller coaster still operating at Cedar Point. This classic PTC wood coaster features a basic out and back layout with some solid airtime, which is why I think it's one of the more underrated roller coasters at Cedar Point. Find out why in this review. Cedar Point has had 10 different wooden roller coasters throughout its rich and lengthy history. The park currently has 16 different roller coasters, but Blue Streak is the lone remaining wood coaster. This ride originally opened back in 1964. Designed by John Allen and built by the Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters Company, this ride was named after the Sandusky High School athletic team's nickname, the Blue Streaks. I think this name works well, and it's a neat way to respect the history of this Ohio town. Blue Streak currently has one of the most unique paint schemes for any wood coaster. The ride is fittingly painted sky blue. It wasn't always this way, but it's hard to imagine the coaster any other way now. It's weird to see any wood coaster that isn't white or brown, but this paint scheme is just so iconic and striking. And the ride looks just as sweet at night with the chaser lights. I'm a sucker for those. While this is one of the park's most historic coasters, the trains and loading procedure have been heavily modified. The coaster originally had just buzz bars, no seat belts, no seat dividers, and no headrests. The coaster later added seat belts, and originally they were optional. But over time, the seat belts became mandatory, and now Blue Streak runs PTC trains with headrests, seat belts, and individual ratcheting lap bars. I never experienced Blue Streak with the buzz bars, but I wish the ride still had them. That would make this ride's airtime even more pronounced and easier to experience. However, I realize why most corporate parks favor the more restrictive individual lap bars. I don't find them uncomfortable, they just make it a little harder to experience the airtime. Blue Streak also used to have separate load and unload platforms. Today, the coaster loads and unloads in the former unload platform. When you dispatch, you pass through the old place where it used to load. The operating booth is still in the original location, which is why it's so far from where you board today. Blue Streak still has its fans, but it tends to have one of the shorter waits at Cedar Point on any given day. This coaster does generate a sizable line early in the day because it's towards the front of the park, but it's usually a walk-on for me by the mid-afternoon. And this is one line you do not want to get stuck in. The switchbacks have zero shade, so you will melt on a hot summer day. The ride runs 3 bench PTC trains, and each train seats up to 24 riders. I strongly recommend the front row in Blue Streak. That is not only the best seat for airtime, but it's also the smoothest row. The coaster can be pretty shaky in a wheel seat or the back of a car, so I would avoid those seats if you can. Dispatches on Blue Streak are not the fastest. I have always seen Blue Streak running 2 trains, but the current block configuration stops the train pretty far back, so it takes a while for it to return to the station after the train ahead of it departs the station. Once dispatched, you slowly move through that former load platform, round a corner, and ascend the 78-foot or 24-meter tall lift hill, which runs along the roadway. Blue Streak isn't one of Cedar Point's tallest coasters, but you still get a great view of the marina off to your right. You then hit your max speed of 40 miles per hour or 64 kilometers per hour at the base of the 72-foot or 22-meter tall first drop. A lot of older wood coasters lie about their max speed, but I think Blue Streak's figure is pretty believable. The initial drop gives a very weak floater pop if you're in the back car. Blue Streak then flies over back-to-back speed hills. Those up front get popped out of their seat twice in each hill. It's a pretty unique airtime sensation you can only get in older wooden coasters. Those in back get comparable airtime in the second bunny hill, but is significantly weaker on that first one. You then traverse a giant camelback. The valley into this element is super compact, so it delivers some mild positive Gs. This hill is quite tall, and unfortunately, it's the only one in the ride that offers no airtime for anyone. You then enter the far turnaround. This is a pretty slow turn, and those up front get no airtime into the element, but those in the back will get some weak floater airtime on the descent. This kicks off the return run. You then fly over another bunny hill. It rides similarly to the second one, 2 strong double pops for those in front, and 2 weak pops for those in the back. After another tight and forceful valley with some positives, you ascend another sizable camelback. This one gives a weak pop of floater airtime for all. Blue Streak then cruises over 3 more bunny hills en route to the brake run. These hills fail to offer airtime, unless you're up front. But if you are up front, you get a decent pop in the first one and weaker pops in the next two. You then come to a stop on the brake run, ending the 2,558 foot or 780 meter long coaster. Blue Streak isn't a tremendously long ride, but it isn't short either, it's just right. So what would I rate Blue Streak? I would give this park's lone wood coaster a 7 out of 10. This is a solid coaster, especially in the front row. The layout is simplistic, but most of the bunny hills deliver enjoyable pops of airtime. And if you avoid a wheel seat, it's a reasonably smooth experience. Cedar Point definitely has bigger and better coasters, but Blue Streak embodies everything a classic wood coaster should be. So those are my thoughts on Blue Streak at Cedar Point. What are your thoughts on this wood coaster? Do you think it's a perfect fit in Cedar Point's lineup? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.